We're finally ready to start, and we have a long day ahead of us, a long night, I guess. So let's just get to it. I'm Fed, already know some of your faces. Hi to everyone who's here for the first time. Hi to Jonga, to Ali, Mario. And we're here today to celebrate the World Product Day. So for those of you who don't know ProductTank, our mission is to foster collaboration and growth within local product management communities to drive innovation and excellence. Since last October, our chapter has been quite active. We've been having one event a month, so we invite you to follow all of our meetup page notifications and to keep joining us. So welcome to ProductTank Madrid. Today is World Product Day, a global celebration of the people behind the product. And in this very day, 15 years ago, the very first ProductTank was celebrated in London. And because of that, we have a little video to play. Let's see if that's going to work. How do I play? Okay. I will.
Put the mic.
It's okay. Let's just imagine there's some little bit of playing.
Put the mic there.
Where? Anyway, 2025, over 200 cities, 300,000 members, and today over 90 world product events are happening around the globe. So it's a big celebration. And this is hello from all of the different chapters.
Pero no tiene poder al final. Sacarlo, tic. A vos no te pasa, pero yo cuando es así tengo que meter panza. Ahí está, mirá.
Happy World Product Day, everyone. And in order to celebrate this, we decided to have today our very own world tour. And the video is playing again, sorry. And so we'll have 3 speakers tonight, that's why it's going to be a busy one. So we'll have first Ale, presenting directly from Argentina, no, just kidding, he lives in Barcelona. Jota, indeed, directly from Brazil, all the way here for that. And then Mario Camus, our very own from Madrid. And yeah, in the end of each session, we'll have like a few minutes for Q&A, but we have a tight schedule, so let's make sure to try to keep from it. Just a reminder that our next event already has a date. It's going to be June 10th, in a few days actually. And we're going to have Impact First Product Teams with Matt LeMay. We'll also have 2 featured speakers, and more details about that tomorrow on the meetup event. So yeah, thank you, and let's enjoy the night.
Okay.
Me toca.
Your first time.
Perfect. This is the mic or this is the mic?
This is the mic for the people, and this is the mic for the recording.
Oh, okay, perfect.
And this is the slide deck.
Okay. I have a surprise on the first slide, so I cannot check if it works. So, okay, I'm honored to be the first one. Thank you for this. I'm first for 2 reasons. The first one is because I live in Barcelona and I'm going back now before the end of the day, so I have to take the train. And this was the second reason, is this was the perfect excuse for them to put me first because it's the worst talk of all the night. So thank you for this. So how many of you work in fintech?
Yes,
Alex, is that a fintech? Okay. How many? Raise your hands again, please. How many? Okay, I have a question for you. When was the first card issued in the whole world? When? Do you know that answer? No? You don't? Okay. Do you know it?
No.
Guess, please.
1962.
Okay, you will get surprised. Okay, guys, thank you for your time and listening to this talk. Today we are going to talk about why is fintech still the future of finance, and why is it still? Because a lot of things happened since the fintech phenomena came to the scene, and we are going to review a little bit of it, and why is the future of finance. So the first surprise, that's me. A couple of years ago. I want to tell you a little bit about my story in the financial system, because I saw like the fintech revolution happen in my country. Yeah. So this is my early years in a bank, in Banco Santander. That I think that you all know it. So in those early days, I didn't actually know what financial system was. I just go to work in Banco Santander because it was a big company. I studied international trade, nothing to do with finance. But suddenly Banco Santander called me for a position in operations. So I accepted the offer and got into the bank. After that, after working a couple of years and learning about all the stuff that is related with financial services, like regulation, operations, etc., I moved to another company called Corporación América, a big company that started one project that was amazing for me in that time. I was like, I don't know, 26 years old. That was the first digital bank of our country, of Argentina. I studied international trade, so nothing to do with the digital world. And this is my first work in product. Yeah, my first job in product. And I think that the biggest innovation back on the day was the digital onboarding, right? So imagine opening an account from your sofa, right? Now we are very used to that, but back in the day, 10 years ago, this was a huge innovation. Like we could have a branch of our banks in our pockets, right? Amazing. And we did it. We launched it. It was quite successful for some times. I worked in another company after this, but after a while I joined Walla, that is another digital bank. I was hired as lead product manager for launching in Colombia. This was amazing. Like in my career, I was in my early 30s and I launched 2 digital banks. So it was crazy for me. Like the fintech revolution and the banking system was so tied into the status quo, and I had the opportunity to challenge all of that I learned on my early years working in a bank, right? In fact, I remember being in Banco Santander, and it's not because of Banco Santander, it's because banking system was so old that when I got out of there to working in digital financial services, I swear to myself that if I continue working in financial services, I will fight against that system. I wanted to break it, because it was so tied to the status quo. So, okay, this is a picture of that time. And nowadays, I'm working at the local, with her, and there is an international payment company that I will tell you in a few minutes what we do and why it's important. So, after all of this journey, I would say 12, 13, 15 years, I learned some things, okay? And today I want to show it with you. The first thing that I noticed about building these slides is the following: that I didn't change my haircut in all of this year. You saw the pictures, like it's always the same. In fact, I have the same haircut now. So I'm a little bored of that. Maybe I'm also bored of fintech, I don't know. But the true learning is that fintech doesn't exist anymore. I think that fintech doesn't exist anymore. So I ask you, which one of you work in fintech? And some of you raise your hand. The other people that don't work in fintech, I don't know what are you doing listening to this talk, but whatever. So I think that fintech doesn't exist anymore because the financial system changed so much during these couple of years that we need to ask ourselves some question and rethink the financial services. But I think another stuff that is very confusing, that is that fintech doesn't exist anymore, and yet it's still the future of finance. And today we are going to discover why this contradiction makes so much sense. Okay, are you with me? Are you coming with me in this journey? Okay, perfect. So this is today's agenda. I will tell you 3 brief stories about financial innovation. Okay? Second, why it's impossible to innovate anymore. We cannot innovate anymore in financial services. And I'm going to prove you that. Third, how technology is related with all of this. Like we say, okay, technology should be an enabler of the innovation. Well, not so much. Then I will tell you why fintech is more relevant than it ever was. So we are going to answer this contradiction. And the third thing is that I will tell you why should you care. So everyone that doesn't work in fintech actually finds value in this conversation. So, 3 brief stories. The first one. Which year did you say? 63, okay. So, let's go back in 1949, okay? There's this guy, New York, you know, post Second World War, everything was amazing, everything was black and white, okay? So this guy goes to a dinner. This guy is called Frank McNamara. He was an entrepreneur of that time. He was having dinner with his lawyer and another person that I don't remember who he was. And they have this dinner, they have a good time, and comes the moment of paying. So he said that he wouldn't buy the bill. So when the waiter comes and tries to charge Frank, he realized that he forgot his wallet. Right? So the other people say, no, don't worry, I will pay. No way that you are paying. He had to ask in the restaurant for a telephone to call his wife to come from home with money to pay the bill. Right? Because they didn't have cell phone. It's not that I send you a WhatsApp, hey, I'm in trouble, send me a Visum. No, right? So after this dinner, he started thinking. He realized he found a problem, right? It makes sense, right? We are broad people. He found the problem. So how do we solve this? So he invented the Diners Club. Sounds familiar? The card for the people who go to dinner, right? And how did it work? They subscribe restaurants to this system. So the people that go with this card, the waiter take the number, and then the restaurant had to go to the bank in order to get the payment, right? That's how it worked. It wasn't online. It was all like by handmade. So in the 1960s, there were 12 restaurants subscribed to this system and a couple of customers. But the next year, they had 22,000 restaurants and 500,000 customers, right? I was worried that nobody laughed about this joke. If nobody laughed, I don't know what this event is about. Okay, this is a product joke, right? So, okay. So he found product market fit. So this was the first car. A couple of years later, a company called Bank America was launched. That was the car of Bank of America. With the years, it became Visa, etc. And all the rest is story. But not a lot of people knows about this story and how did it started. I will tell you another story. This guy is Reg Barney. He was a humorist from the UK. He was famous because he made a sitcom that he drives a bus. I never saw it. Maybe my grandmother saw it, I don't know. But he was famous for that. And I will tell you about another guy, that is John Jeffrey Barron. John Jeffrey Barron was the inventor of the first ATM. Okay? What does these two guys have to do in common? They met once for the first cash withdrawal on the history of humankind. Okay? In the 60s. I'm going to give you that. In the 60s. So there it is. This is John, right? And Ray. Look, the first bill took out from an ATM. This is a Barclays Bank branch. Okay? Two important information about the story that I gave you. The first one. Visa, the card, was invented or was launched by Bank of America, right? And the first cash machine was introduced by Barclays, okay, in the UK. Today we have you can go and visit it. It has this, so you can know that happened there. Third story, the last one, I swear. This is Florence, okay? Do you know Florence? It's very nearby, okay? It's an amazing city, and there. No. A couple of years ago. So, why do I love Florence? I love it because it's beautiful, of course. This was the biggest dome of the history of humankind for a couple of years. Then it was replaced, I think, from the Vatican City. But the important thing about Florence and what I love is that I feel it as the place where financial services, modern financial services was created. And you say, why, Florence, why? Because of this guy. This guy is Cosme de Medici. Okay? Cosme de Medici is maybe the most famous I won't say it. I will wait for a second. I will give you this suspense. This guy financed artists to make huge things, like the dome, for example. He financed the dome. He was a politician also. He ruled Florence for a couple of years, and he built one of the most important families in Europe, right? That maintained power during decades, centuries. Okay, but this guy didn't build the power just on politics or art. This guy built his empire because he was a banker. His father, Giovanni, founded the Medici Bank, and he took it to the next level. What did Cosme de' Medici do to build such power? The same that the bank do today. They borrow money from their customers, from wealthy people who have savings, and lend it to people who need it. Right? It was a money intermediate, right? Like the banks. That's what banks do. Okay. This is the bank, the main branch of the bank in Florence. And the only difference between this bank and these banks, right, are maybe the story of Frank McNamara, of Scasserra Baron and Reg Varney. Okay, this financial innovation that happened, but the core of the activity of the business of these two different worlds is nothing. Like it's the same thing that they do right now to get money from their customers and to lend it. That's the financial intermediation, what it's called, right? So with that system, with that basic and very simple business, they ruled for centuries until the 2010, I would say, when a champion with a shiny armor came into the scene. Something happened. Okay, the regulation adapted, the technology was there. I don't know what happened. Well, I know, but I don't want to talk about that. But the truth is that the fintech phenomena appeared on the scene, and everything changed from there, because these tiny companies that were born in places like this, in Attico, were challenging the big monsters that during centuries maintained the power over the financial services, and they also built power in the political system. So everything was challenged. So this is how banks were defeated. Of course not. So, por ejemplo, la gran banca española gana 31.000 millones en 2024. Un 21% más y bate un nuevo récord. Banks are more wealthier than ever. Like, it doesn't matter the amount of fintech, the amount of innovation, the technology, the digital world, the AI, the VCs found in fintech. Banks cannot be defeated. The question is why, right? So there are several reasons. I will not list them, but I want to focus on these two. Digitalization is not longer a competitive advantage. In fact, I will go even further. Technology is not a competitive advantage. And this is not true for fintech. This is true for all industries. Technology is very easy to copy. Maybe if you're a big corporation, you have to struggle with digital transformation, that term that is quite old now. But if you want to put technology into your process, or some banks, for example, build their own spin-off with top technology, so they can compete with fintech. So technology transformed into commodity is accessible to everyone. And second, there is another commodity, is that financial services are commodities. As I told you, you are using cards every day, guys. Cards were invented by Frank McNamara 70 years ago. The ATM was invented in the 60s. And the financial intermediation was not invented by Cosme de' Medici, but we can say that has 2,000 years. So every financial service, if a bank launched a metal card, that we know some banks that do that, that's not innovation. Cards exist since forever. Like, our grandparents were born with cards, right? So where is innovation? Can we innovate? That's the question, right? So I will put innovation in 3 layers. Technology innovation into 3 layers. So we dig deeper into this. So the first layer, we have the traditional products. Cosme de' Medici, Frank McNamara, Scasserra Baron, right? Then we can have digital products. And we have Steve Jobs, we have David Vélez, the founder of Nubank, Starinsky, I don't remember his name, that is the founder of Revolut, even Satoshi Nakamoto, that we don't know who he is, the creator of Bitcoin, right? So this is the digital world, the digital world that we live in. And we are entering in a new world. AI, right? And we have these people that I think that you already know it. If you drop down a little bit on LinkedIn, that's enough for knowing these three people, right? So, artificial intelligence is a new thing, you know? Innovation is with artificial intelligence. Guys, in 10 years will be a commodity. Everyone will have it. Banks, fintech, it doesn't matter. Then you can add quantum computing. It will be the same. Do you understand the point? Like, it's innovation during this period of time, then transforms into a commodity. Everyone has it. So, it's possible to innovate. That's the question. If technology is a commodity, if everyone catch up, if the bank cannot be destroyed, where is innovation? Can fintech innovate? Is fintech worth existing anymore? So, no. So, thank you for coming. I'm so glad that you laughed. Okay, so a couple of years ago, I wrote this book, okay? Challenging how to build product in a digital bank and build a financial system of tomorrow. It's only in Spanish, so my translator is a little clunky. And in this book, I write several ways of building product into in digital banking, in financial services, and I approach to different topics that are related with this. But today I want to talk about two. That is the following. First of all, nobody wants to use financial services. Never. No, none of you guys wants to use financial services. Nobody wake up today at the morning and say, hey, today I want to take a loan, right? Today I want to pay in the supermarket. Like, I don't want to buy the things, I want to pay. I want to live the experience of putting the card. Nobody does that, right? I want to invest my money and don't see it for 2 years, right? Not even people that are earning money with Bitcoin. They're seeing the Bitcoin going up and saying, hey, I should withdraw it, this is very risky, right? You want to have it in your hands because it's your money, it's your time, it's your effort, it's your dreams, okay? So nobody wants to use financial services. So the user experience of financial services is by default awful. Nobody wants to use it. The second thing is that, as I said, financial services are a commodity. You already know this, right? All the financial services are the same. The card is a card, the account is an account, the investment is an investment. There is no innovation there. For sure, in traditional products, there is no innovation. So maybe Bitcoin was an innovation, and it still is. But that's the only thing that will be different, right? But the rest? So I think that I will argue that there are three columns that we can use, and it's very important to understand, to know how we can innovate in this system that has all of these challenging characteristics. Like if you will create a fintech today, a VC and comes and tells you, you have 1 million euros, go and build a fintech. What do you do? What do you do? Like everything is invented, for sure. Like it's true, if you think it for a while. So I think that there are three columns that you need to really understand to innovate in financial services. The first of all is jobs to be done. Someone knows about jobs to be done?
Sure. Yes.
Please. Okay. I will explain it very briefly. But basically, a guy called Clayton Christensen invented this thing about jobs to be done. Then other authors deep dive into it a little bit. What did you say?
He's the guy for the jobs to be done.
He's the guy for jobs to be done, exactly. And he has a talk that I love that he says, I'm Clayton Christensen, I'm 60-something years old, I'm this height, I wear this type of shoes, I dress like this, I have a wife, 2 kids, etc. And he says, none of these characteristics made me buy the New York Times today. So what he's trying to say is that traditional marketing doesn't work if you want to understand the casual mechanism of purchase. Like, what's the customer looking for when they actually put the credit card to buy something, okay? So, jobs to be done, he explains that everyone in our lives have jobs. Some things that we have to do. For example, coming from Barcelona to ProductTank, in my case. Or you have to, I don't know, dress for ProductTank, right? So whatever you do is a job. You have to do it. So people hire products, they pull them into their lives to try to make that job better. And that reason why they pull those products is not so obvious, okay? The thing is that the functional reason why people hire these products is quite obvious, but the emotional and social part is not so obvious. Of course, he wants to buy New York Times because he wants to know the news, but maybe he prefers that newspaper instead of other because his boss reads the same newspaper and he wants to interact with his boss, to have a better relationship with his boss. Why? Because he wants to keep that job, because he dreams of whatever. That's emotional, that's social, that has nothing to do. So why am I bringing these jobs to the theory here? Because in financial services, it's not that it's just true. It's 200% true. Because nobody wants to purchase financial services. So the functional part is very easy, but the emotional and social part, or the job to be done, the reason why people are using the money is not so obvious. And most banks and fintech miss that. People buy things because they want the thing, not because they want to pay. So what do you want? Do you want to buy shoes? Okay, so understand which one of your customers are buying shoes, where are they buying the shoes, and what you can do to make that experience better. Because the experience, if you focus just on the payment, it will be always awful. It's impossible to break that because nobody wants to do it. The second is data. Data is the raw material that you need to understand the job. If you don't have a data-driven organization, it's very difficult that you actually understand the job to be done. The truth is in the data, what your customer does, right? Of course that you need to talk with customers. We have two experts here on that. You have to talk with customers to understand it better, but in the data, in the information is the job to be done, right? And then a culture of failure, a culture of trying, a culture of innovation, a culture of knowing that you will launch a product that probably will fail based on that job to be done, and you have to iterate it, right? So this is the three things that an organization needs to build innovation in financial services. So I'm saying, don't build better payments. Understand what your customers are looking for and improve their experience there. That's the good experience, not in financial services. So, and in the bottom, we can put digital products. This is what I put in the book. But actually, when I was building these slides, I realized that, right? Any technology you can put in here, traditional products, digital products, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, going to Mars, it doesn't matter. Like you put it all on the bottom because it's the baseline that you did for innovation. The mindset is the same. Right? Make sense? Make like this, please, because if not, I'm leaving. Okay. So, I love to say this quote because I really believe in this. Like, I do believe in that technology is not what we do. I think that the industry of technology never existed. Right? It's a tech company. What do you mean? So technology is not what we do. Technology is what allows us to do what we always done, but in an amazing way, in a different way, in some way that it never was done. So some examples here, for example, Revolut. You know that Revolut has an HR platform? Do you know that in the UK? What has to do with banking? Well, it has a lot to do with banking, but I won't explain you why. But it's something that they realize about their customers. Or it has experiences where you can purchase, I don't know, trips, for example, for the weekend. Or Square that has a CRM. Or Nubank that has their own marketplace. Or Klarna that has a platform for influencers and creators. Klarna is a buy now pay later company, right? A lending company. So this is some of the examples, but also banks innovate. Caixa integrating AI, Visum, an innovation of the Spanish banking system. Santander that has their own fintechs. You know, I was born in Santander, and I'm talking shit about Santander. And then they digitalize, right? So both banking and fintech are innovating with technology. Some banks are doing catch up. Some fintechs are trying to innovate using these principles. But the thing is that all the financial systems is moving forward. I have some examples of dLocal, that is my current company. For example, we do payments, international payments, but it's not about the payment. It's about enabling different merchants and industry across the world. That's what we do. For example, Netflix wants to launch in Mozambique. What we do is we integrate the payment method for them to make it smoother, the go-to-market in that market. So it's about education platforms, right? It's about streaming services. It's about gaming. Right? It's not about payments. It never was. Nobody cares about the payment. What they care is about the service that they can purchase with that. And where there is the demand, we can enable the offer to come and to suit that demand. So, this is my second quote, the second thing that I want you to be stick in your brain, that is the following. Fintech is not something that we are. I work in dLocal, it's a fintech company. It's not a fintech company, because fintech is not something that you are. Fintech is something that you do. What does this mean? That if you harness technology, that is the baseline, to build your products with the latest technology, you take risk and challenge the status quo, like what is people used to. And you focus on your customer and the problems that they have, not in the financial perspective, but the problems that they have in their life, you can build a fintech. right? You can do fintech. And this is true both for startups and banks, right? In fact, I will tell you something. Fintech is a term that was invented by Citibank in the 70s. It was a financial technology transformation inside a bank. That's how fintech was invented, by a bank, a traditional bank. So, what does this have to do with ProductTank? Because all of this that I'm saying, guys, is about great product management, right? It's about having teams that are empowered, that have an environment to challenge the status quo with technology and to be customer-centric. So if you as a company harness product management, empower your product managers, and do great product management, no matter if you're a financial services company or not, you will succeed, right? Because you are harnessing technology to build innovation. Technology is not innovation per se. So why should you care about this? That's the last question. So the ones that are getting sleep, wake up now, because that's the final message. So again, technology is not what we do. Technology is what allows us to do the same thing, but in an amazing way. So this applies to every industry. That's the message. If you want in marketplaces, if you work in, I don't know, selling airplane tickets, whatever, it's not the technology, harnessing the technology and bringing it to your company, it's fine. It's innovation for a while, but it's not the final destination. The final destination is bringing value to your customers, right? So don't fall in love with the technology. The technology is a commodity. Just as the credit card invented by Frank McNamara, the ATM invented by George Sheffer-Barron, and Cosme MAG. You will transform into that if you think that only with technology you create innovation. So only the companies that innovate through technology, take risks and challenge the status quo, and are customer-centric are going to shape the future of our industries. So the companies that do great product management are going to shape the future of our industries. So congratulations, product people. You are in the best spot in history of humankind to create something dramatically different and dramatically valuable, okay? This is true. This is the final slide, so thank you very much. So you can follow me on LinkedIn if you want. There you have a QR, and I have a newsletter. This talk was originally going to be called "How to Get the Job and X2 Your Salary." Okay, but I thought, what a good hook for my newsletter. What a great hook. So tomorrow I will be launching this post in my newsletter. So if you want to know about that, please follow my newsletter. Thank you. Questions, right?
Thanks a lot, Ale. I'm so sorry, but we'll not have time for
No worries.
Apologies to everyone.